Hillview Golf Course has been operating a public golf course here in Maida Vale for more than 50 years. When Main Roads decided to take land, which has a consequential impact on the whole of the golf course, Hillview turned to Cornerstone Legal to represent it in ensuring that its compensation was fair and reasonable. The taking of land for the purposes of the interchange between Kalamunda Road and Roe Highway had a devastating impact on the Hillview Golf Course. We needed to properly assess the value of the impact on the balance of the golf course caused by the taking of the land and the disturbance caused by the contractors during the construction period. This means strong, clear representation to Main Roads as well as the contractor to ensure that the person who is the subject of a taking is properly represented. Remember, this is not a taking which you invite. It's what the government is doing to you. They have the powers to take your land, they will take your land, but you need to make sure that you're properly informed and are able to properly argue for the true amount of compensation that you rightly deserve for the taking of your land.
Taking of land impacts everybody differently. We make a point of going out onto the property to meet you, to understand the issues, to understand the way that the taking has impacted you and your business.
Here at Cornerstone Legal, we've represented some of the biggest cases in land compensation where people have been affected by government trying to take their land. They're often in a difficult position. The government has the power to take land, and the landowner is then left arguing what the value of that land is. We've experienced circumstances where government has taken land from landowners and paid only 1/4 of its true value, which is ultimately determined by way of a hearing. That's not fair. We need fairness. Here at Cornerstone Legal, we've acted principally for landowners. Landowners are affected by government who looks to try to take their land from them. They're worried because their major asset is being taken from them and they want to have just fair value. Land compensation has become really complex over the last 20 years. It's no longer the case that you can just get a valuer and just say, here's a piece of land, now go and value it. The reason is that they need to ignore the purpose for why the land has either been reserved or taken by the government agency. And in doing that, they need to rely on other experts. And that involves questions of not just valuation. You've often got to get environmental experts to prove that the land was capable of development. It requires any lawyer to have a detailed understanding of the environmental legislation, town planning legislation, policies and laws and schemes. It requires any lawyer to properly understand the valuation process and the use of expert evidence. It is a complex area of law that is constantly changing as a result of the constantly changing town planning landscape, environmental law landscape, and the development of new precedents in the area of land compensation itself. This is a specialist area of law. It requires lawyers to properly understand town planning, environmental, and valuation principles. The process is difficult, it's complex, and it's often a fairly lengthy process to achieve the right outcome. If you own land, you can't expect the government just to walk in and take your land from you without the proper payment of compensation for that land. Here at Cornerstone Legal, we do understand what's needed to prove up the true value of the land. It's hard, it's difficult, and you need a lawyer who's going to work hard and who has the experience in this area.